Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll do a detailed stats comparison of the most talked about striker in world football, Alexander Isak. We'll see what he does better than most, where he struggles, and compare him to 9 of the best strikers from last season, including the likes of Mbappé, Haaland, Lewandowski and many more. आज हम कंपेयर करेंगे उनके इंडिविजुअल स्टैट्स, वील सी कि उनका ओवरऑल प्रोफाइल कैसा है एंड वेयर डज ईसैक स्टैंड व्हेन वी कंपेयर हिम टू द एलीट. And finally, we'll also talk about the big question, will Newcastle sell him? So let's dive right in. So let's start with the metric that would probably excite you the most about a striker, shooting. So when I look at these metrics, the first thing that stands out for me with respect to Isak is the lack of volume when it comes to goals. If you look at Mbappé, Lewandowski, Gyokeres, they have piled in goals like anything, but Isak only has more goals than Lautaro Martinez. अगर आप ईज़ैक के गोल्स एंड एक्सपेक्टेड गोल्स भी देखें तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है व्हेन यू कंपेयर हिम टू अ लेवेंडोव्स्की और ओसीमैन और योकेरेस. ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड टू टेक इनटू कॉन्टेक्स्ट कि ओसीमैन एंड योकेरेस प्रॉब्ली प्लेड इन इंफीरियर लीग्स. बट अगर आप गोल्स एंड एक्सपेक्टेड गोल्स का डिफरेंस देखो तो यू सी दैट ईज़ैक इज़ एक्चुअली वन ऑफ द मोस्ट क्लिनिकल स्ट्राइकर्स इन वर्ल्ड फुटबॉल. With a difference of just 0.1, it shows that he's able to convert a lot of his chances that he gets. And like I said, it's important कि हम context याद रखें. Osimhen and Gyokeres have played in inferior leagues, जिसके वजह से उनका जो shot volume है per 90 that is very high, which actually results in a higher XG and then probably a higher number of goals as well. So even though Isak is in the bottom two when it comes to shot volume and overall goals, there are two metrics that stand out for me which make him a very clinical finisher. First is the XG conversion, which is quite impressive, and the second is goals per shots on target, which means that whenever he's taking a shot on target, there's a good chance that he will score. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? It probably means that Isak does not have that single-mindedness that Haaland or Osimhen have कि भाई goals मारने हैं मुझे, मैं इसी के लिए हूँ बस. I think Isak tries to do a lot more when he's on the pitch. He tries to dribble, he tries to create opportunities for his teammates, and maybe because of that, there is that lack of volume. But if he can fix that, I mean, you are certainly looking at someone who can easily score 40 goals a season. And now let's come to my favorite part of Isak's game, dribbling. So the first thing I notice when I look at these numbers is Kylian Mbappé. He's a standout dribbler. And if you've seen Mbappé play, you know these numbers don't lie. He is genuinely probably the best dribbler out of all the number 9s that we can see here. And obviously, since we are seeing stats from last season, Ousmane Dembele's numbers look amazing as well. You know, he probably had as good a season as Kylian Mbappé. But the thing is that he played around 60% of all of PSG's minutes. And when you compare it to others on this list, they played around 74 to 76%. And amazingly, it's Gyokeres who has the highest. He played around 85%. So he's a standout in terms of availability as well. But hey, look, it's important कि हम context भी ध्यान में रखें. I mean, it wouldn't be unfair to say that the Portuguese league and the French league are probably less physical than the other leagues that we see in the top 5. Now let's talk about Isak. He's number 4th on the list when we talk about carries into the final third, and the same statistics translate when you talk about carries into the penalty areas as well, where he's number 4 again. It shows he's a consistent dribbler all over the final third, and I'm sure जब वो एक अच्छी टीम में खेलेगा where he's playing against probably inferior defenders to his team, these metrics should probably go up. And when we talk about take-ons, he's number 4 when it comes to attempts, and जब हम सक्सेस परसेंट की बात करते हैं, ही इज़ अगेन इन द टॉप 5. आई थिंक इट्स fair to say that the most entertaining part of Isak's football is his dribbling. He has so much flair, and I always say this, that he reminds me so much of Thierry Henry when I look at him play. And one thing about Isak is that he's always attempting tough dribbles. Maybe that's the reason why this take-on success percentage is, I would say, low for someone of Isak's standards. And of course, if you're talking about take-on success percent, the standout here is Victor Osimhen. 60% success rate is just outrageous. I know he's played in Turkey, and I'm not sure what his numbers looked before in this area, but that is really impressive. अब आते हैं progression पे. Dembele had an outrageous season. He was managed so well by Enrique that it got the best out of him. And Dembele को छोड़ के भी you see the usual culprits. Mbappé is up there when it comes to both progressive passing and carrying. And apart from that, if there is one more player that really interests me apart from Isak, that's Julian Alvarez. वो एक और स्ट्राइकर है जिसको I would be really happy to see at Liverpool. And of course, Isak is up there with the most progressive players in the world and provides great options as a dribbler and a passer. Now let's see how do these players compare जब हम उनके defensive actions and goal creating actions compare करते हैं. And as you can see here, Mbappé, for all his dribbling and all his attacking talent, comes with a trade-off, which is that his defensive actions will always be on the lower end. Isak is actually fairly balanced here. And the likes of Kane, Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez, they are workhorses. Isak is one of the most complete striker profiles in the world. Out of all the strikers that are available in this market, he's definitely the best one out there. And thinking from a Liverpool perspective, not having that single-mindedness to score goals might actually help him gel with Mohamed Salah, who actually has that mentality. And we might see a shift in it as well. It remains to be seen, if that move eventually happens, how the dynamics would look like. Because Salah's assist numbers have also been going up. So maybe he'd be more interested in assisting Isak. Now the big question is, क्या Isak Newcastle छोड़ के Liverpool जाएगा? Look, player power is huge in football as of now. And जैसे हमने developments देखे हैं with Newcastle and Isak, it just seems to be a matter of time before the move happens. Unless Newcastle completely bottle it in the transfer market and are not able to get any decent striker, I don't see how Isak continues to stay at Newcastle. When you look at it, आपको वो feeling आती है कि that relationship has gone beyond repair. And a lot of people have been saying that there is a possibility that he might be sold to Saudi, which I feel is highly unlikely. Because of the PSR rules, अगर Newcastle सऊदी के किसी क्लब को बेचती है Alexander Isak को, तो हो सकता है कि बहुत strong scrutiny हो उस चीज़ पे and Newcastle वो amount अपने PSR accounts में दिखा भी ना पाए. And the way the Community Shield performance for Liverpool was, clearly that we need another attacking option from the bench, and that option should be Hugo Ekitike because Alexander Isak should start. Guys, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video, and do share who you think is the best number 9 in the world and where does Isak rank when we talk about them. And please do like, share and subscribe. It gives me motivation to keep going. Thanks all.